right, and we are back on the flex with Miss Brenda Watson and Miss Louisa McLaughlin from NDC. They've been talking to us about the events they have going on for Alcohol Awareness Month and just throughout the year generally. So you have Youth to Youth, the program for young people, by young people. That's like our catchphrase. But you have that program. If I went to Youth for the first time, what could I expect?
All right, so you'd basically expect us to have games, fun introductory pieces. There would be an opportunity for you to meet other people. And then towards the end of the group, we kind of have a topic of the evening, or we discuss current trends that are happening in the media. And we bring about our message to the youth in that forum. So earlier I was talking about teens and drinking and the amount of teens that don't drink. Now, our message is not to drink, and we would like it if you guys didn't drink at all. But for those who make the decision once they're of age and legal to drink, what does that look like? Because I think while we'd like to say don't drink and never touch alcohol, what we ought to be saying is, what does it look like if you've had one drink? What needs to happen when you've had two drinks? When do you know that you either need to call a parent or call a cab, or, you know, or are you designating a driver in that group then to take you home, right? Or when you're out, are people carding you? Right? So those are some of the pieces that we kind of tackle as well, because the reality is we can't say that for every teen who decides that they're not going to drink now that means that they're never going to drink. Correct. But we do want them to understand what alcohol does to their body. We do want them to understand the amount of alcohol in a drink. While we don't tackle it necessarily in a teaching aspect, we do put some information out there so that they're more interested in than knowing, okay, I'm not drinking because I don't want to feel this way. Or I'm not drinking if I don't have these things in place. Or I know I need to talk to my parents because if I go out, I want to know that I'm going to have a safe ride home.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why do you think that if someone's well educated on alcohol and drugs, they still end up using it?
Well, I mean, there's always a probability, right? And then
a choice.
And a choice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, even though we're well educated on certain topics, the reality is we make the choice. And we can't say who's going to become addicted to anything, right? So sometimes we choose to use something and we feel that, well, it can't be me. That won't happen to me,
exactly.
right? But we can't sit here and tell you which of you, should you choose to drink in 5 years or 6 years, will become addicted to alcohol or won't. Maybe none of you will. Maybe 2 out of 3 will. We really can't say because our bodies are made up very differently. The way that, or how we consume whatever we decide to consume will be different. So the message really isn't going to be necessarily saying that because you're educated, you won't. But if you're more educated on what's happening, you tend to make different decisions.
Better choices.
Exactly.
That's why it's important to, to get information. Get information, get the facts, and trying to learn as much as you can so you can do better decisions.
I agree. So you have the surveys and you get the results whenever you're finished going through these 3,000 surveys. You have the results. What would be your next step now? Do you come up with a new program for young people, or do you put different things in place to help?
Well, as Louisa said, we'll first develop the briefs, which are a much shorter, condensed, like a page worth of information for both parents and teens, or the general public, really. And then a much larger report will be developed a little later on. From that, we then look at what the trends are saying. So I know one of the things we've talked about from the 2014 survey was really that we could see that the use of tobacco was being reduced.
Decreasing.
Right? However, we have seen the trends of some new things coming on board. So you've got the electronic cigarettes, right? So we track those trends. So then we would say, okay, well, we realize that perhaps tobacco is no longer being the drug of choice, but e-cigarettes. So now we're going to make sure that we're educating about e-cigarettes and what's happening on that forefront. That's one of the first things,
So you always stay current to the issues that are currently going on in society.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on e-cigarettes and vapes, I guess?
Well, right now they're very new to the market. There's not, although research is being done, there's just really not enough to say. But it does contain tobacco.
Yeah.
So
I don't think enough people know that.
Yeah.
Well,
And everything that you put in your body, Trust me.
Right.
You have to
Exactly.
be consequences about
Right,
that.
right,
True.
right. So we wouldn't be able to say without a shadow of a doubt that this is going to happen. But over a few years, we would have pretty much the same kind of data that we have on
Definitely.
cigarettes.
Definitely. So you always use your research in a current way. You're not just stuck behind
No.
your
Yeah.
current, and you're always trying to find new ways to help young people. So if I'm not comfortable speaking to you ladies
Yes.
in a big group, do you guys offer private counseling?
We don't actually offer counseling, but for anyone who wants more information, they can contact us.
Yes.
They can call us at the office at 949-9000. They can drop us an email at info@ndc.ky. Additionally, they can just visit our website because we have tons of information on our website. If it is someone who's in the need of counseling or other services, we do have our service providers also listed and our partners. So it's a pretty comprehensive website. And if they do want to then have a one-on-one, so if it's a parent who maybe is struggling with something, they can come in and talk to us and we can steer them in the right direction.
Okay, so if you can't directly do it, you find somebody else who
Absolutely,
can help them.
absolutely.
So there is always an option
Yes.
for help. Okay, so if you could leave one message about the NDC, what would that message be?
One message.
Yeah, just one.
We just talked about 3,000
I know,
surveys.
right?
One message. Okay. I'd like to leave the listening public with the notion that alcohol awareness is a very, very tough subject because a lot of times we don't, as parents, we don't necessarily talk to our kids directly from the time that they're young about the use and abuse of alcohol. And alcohol is a drug, all right? We're hoping that from this and our PSAs and the other things that we're doing in the community this month, that parents become a little bit more aware and that teens become a little bit more aware and maybe start asking questions because we love questions. We're really here to educate. So if it's one thing I can leave you with is that alcohol is a drug and we'd like you guys to get as much information on how to talk to your teens or teens how to talk to your parents, how to bring up that conversation with your parents.
All right. Thank you very much. Miss Louisa, do you have a final message?
Well, I'm agree with my colleague, right? Get the facts, get as much information as you can. It's important to understand that this is a drug, alcohol, talking about that. Even though it is legal and looks like it's fine to do it, it's not. There is consequences about your choices and you have to be smart.
All right.
Thank
So do you have any shout outs?
Yes, I would actually like to shout out to my entire Youth to Youth group. I'm not going to call them name by name. I should embarrass them, but I won't. But I will say a shout out to the Youth to Youth leader as well, Miss Delisa Hernandez. And in addition to that, I think we both would like to send shout outs to our volunteers because they were very, very helpful in our last survey and our previous volunteers and the current volunteers that we have on list.
And you guys will still take some more
Of
volunteers.
Yes. we always
We'll expand that
Yes.
list.
All right. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming on to the Flex today and sharing your knowledge of alcohol awareness and sharing what your company does. You guys are welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
All right. We'll take our third music break.
Our next song is from his Root EP, one of the Proud of Them honorees, James Gary, with Sold Out.